So the first thing you have to do is embrace your journey, which nobody does, because everybody's pissed. Is everybody pissed about their journey? Why this happened to me? Oh, why is this happening? Look, I can't get a break. You know, all that. And believe me, I was the king of all this. That's all I did my whole life was complain and feel like I was getting a bad break. So, which I was getting because that was the end of it. So I was like, I'm getting a bad break. But anyway, so then I started to say, okay, if I'm going to do this work, I can't go forward unless I'm in acceptance of this is what it's about. I have to deal with whatever these obstacles are. I need to deal with this stuff because this is what I am here to do. So here's what ends up happening. You have two options in every circumstance. So I have these karmic issues that I'm going to deal with. So one of my big ones is abandonment. My father died when I was young. He also abandoned me prior to that because he was never home. My mother abandoned me emotionally when I was born, also abandoned me as a child after my father died. Core karmic issue for me. So I have to deal with that. Now I can feel bad about it, I can be upset about it, I can complain about it, but that's my core karmic issue that I have to go through. And I'm still working on it, because it's my core karmic issue. So you're going to have certain issues that you will clear very quickly. They'll come in, they'll come out. You'll say, oh, I got it, I know what it is, I felt that feeling, I see what's going on, boom, done. Those are your lighter ones. Your core ones, which are your lower chakra areas, these are the deeper karmic ones. These are going to be more difficult and they will have more layers. So you've got to look at it and say, what is this thing that I keep hitting my head against over and over again? It's like, boom, and even when you get through part of it, you're like, here it is again. I got through part of it, but now it's back. Or I got through a little piece of it, but here's another piece. And I got through another piece, and here's another piece. Because that's your core stuff. Yeah, Madeline?
I guess I just don't, could you explain what an example of a lower core issue would be?
Would be abandonment.
Abandonment, okay.
Would be intense unworthiness. Would be intense shame. These core feelings that really, these feelings that really bring us into the deepest parts of who we are that stop us from going forward. They're usually going to be anchored in those feelings of shame and unworthiness, really are core. Because when you're not receiving, you feel shame and unworthiness. If you're not receiving what you want, right? You're not creating what you want, then obviously you don't feel worthy of having it or creating it.
Okay, so how do they relate to the lower chakra?
So your chakras, because they develop from the bottom up, your core's issues are going to be in your base, right? Your base, your solar plexus, they're going to be down your sacral, and your solar plexus, they're going to be down these lower three. Also, the moon center, which is here, which is the one I learned from my teacher, which is the one that's right in this area, is also critical for your responsibility. So that's this chakra here, right? So if I feel very responsible for everybody else, then that's a big issue for me in the moon center, because I need to deal with that feeling. Because if I'm feeling super responsible for everybody else, it doesn't let me do what I have to do. So I have to deal with, it doesn't mean you have to be irresponsible, but I don't want to go, this is the hardest thing to do is balance all this stuff, because it doesn't mean you're going to be totally irresponsible. You're just not going to live that way. But there's a balance between, going back and forth. And most of us, I think, are very far on one side. We're very far in guilt. We're very far in shame. We're very far in unworthiness. We're very far in being overly responsible. We're very far to the one side. So we need to pull it back the other way.